Hi everyone, my name is Ian. Previously I talked about going for a ride along the river down to Fremantle, so we're going to try and go there today. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said last time, I have been to the city and back along the river on both sides. However, this time we are going to go further and head towards the mouth of the river. So I have brought 2 batteries just in case. I have a feeling that I will have to use that second battery. Just so that you know, this is what I'm riding today. One thing I need to point out from the last video is all of that screeching that you heard in the audio is actually the wind. The DJI action camera has a feature where it's got a second microphone hidden, and that is supposed to help with reducing wind noise. However, I found that when there's crosswinds, as in winds that are going across it and rather than face on, it won't, sometimes it doesn't fully sort of block that wind noise. So we are following the similar path to what we went to, the path that we followed last time, but then we're going to deviate from there once we get to the right place. The other different thing about this trip is that I've got a hydration pack on, because one of the things that I found with the helmet is I can't actually drink anything when I've got the helmet on. So this is a hydration pack for hiking. Today I have no idea what the weather is going to be, but as you can tell, there are no clouds in the direction that we're looking at, and I have a feeling that the rest of the way it'll be the same thing. This is the Swan River. We are going to be following that side of the river down to Fremantle. So we're going under the bridge. We want to stick to this side of the river. Oh, so there's a pathway here. Right, so this is the start of the pathway. And then we are simply following this along the river, which should be nearby. Yeah, so it's just there. There's definitely a river there. That's the Swan River. So we're going to be following this path along the river to get to Fremantle. One of the other things that we're going to try and do today is to take more time to slow down, to enjoy the scenery. Whoa, this is gravel now. Right, I wasn't expecting that on this trip. See, look how tall the trees are. So we're coming up to the area where there's roadworks. I have a feeling so, because I have lost the river. Not that it's gone missing, just I probably should have turned back there. Let's try and cut through here, because this will be parallel to the turn that I probably should have taken, and hopefully will take us to where we should have been. I don't know where we are. So these are the swamps. I actually don't know where exactly we are, but that up there I have a feeling is the highway. And see, that's the Swan River there. Just to let you guys know that I may be talking a lot for the first half of this trip, you know, like on the route, on the way to Fremantle, but on the way back I may be a bit quiet because I don't really have much else to say. Oh, people are fishing here. Wonder what they catch. Must be a good fishing spot for them to there to be jetties there. We're back at the river. But that's some background. Ascot Racecourse is where we are, and right there is the river. Oh, this is nice. So this looks like the top, and so this gives you an idea of how far up we are. See, the Swan River is down there, and you might be able to see it, but there's a city there, and so that's how far we are from the city. There's that long building that's actually off the stadium. See, and that's a nice view of the Swan River. And that's how slow you have to go in the river. And this leads past the city, which you can see there, and then heads towards Fremantle in a wiggly, snaky way. This is actually really nice to go through here. I mean, besides the shade from the sun, you look on the left and you've got trees, plants. You look at the right, you've got trees and plants, and just past that is the river, which is cool. So I enjoyed the first time that I took this trip to the city. Just out of curiosity, I thought I'll see what it's like to ride along the river, and I was surprised. It is actually quite nice. The downside is that if you're going for a group ride, you can only see sections of it. You know, like you have to pick where you ride carefully, because there are some sections where it's nice like this, and some sections where it's not so nice. You don't get much of a view, and like the last few minutes, it's hilly. It goes up and down, and it's not small hills. They're pretty steep, so it will be difficult for young ones who are not used to it, or older ones that don't get assistance from an electric motor or something like that. But this is real nice. Like, see how, wow. I'm riding slower than I normally would, just to try and soak it in, and to give you guys an idea of what it looks like through here, because it is really nice. Like, everywhere you look along this section is really nice. So if you do ever come to Western Australia and want to go for a bike ride, try the south side of the river. There's a pathway. I mean, there's some sections where they're doing roadworks at the moment, but it is definitely worth maybe a walk, or if you want to go for a ride, you can go for a ride. Just be sure that you are prepared for the hills, because you will need to drop down a couple of gears, or maybe a few, or you may need electrical assistance, so use an e-bike. We are actually running up along the freeway at the moment. If we were to continue straight onto this path, we would get onto the city. Sweet. So you've got Perth City there. You've got Optus Stadium ahead of us. You can see I can see the O and the P and the T. And then you've got Burswood train station. And then this is the freeway going away from the city. Yay! I like this bit. It's been years since I've been here. Not long after Optus Stadium was built, my mum and I and some friends came here, and this lights up at night, which is really nice. I like it. Now this is Matagarup Bridge, and this is cool because there's a zip line, so you can climb that bridge like you do the Sydney Harbour Bridge, but rather than paying the high price of climbing Sydney Harbour Bridge, you can climb this instead. You can't see it at the moment, but there's also a zip line on this side of the bridge. So this is the end of the zip line. Well, actually, it's further. So this is the near the end. That's the end there. And if you follow it the other way, it leads to the bridge. So that's the bridge there. I'm sorry if the audio is bad at the moment. There are crosswinds again. Well, like I'm pretty much facing almost directly straight towards the wind, against the wind. So this is, we're coming up to the causeway, but we're going to go straight through it. Go past it, because we don't need to get onto it. So this is a spot where there's this lane which is dedicated to cyclists. That lane is dedicated to pedestrians. So if there's any accidents or collisions between pedestrians and cyclists, it shouldn't happen here or in this area. So that's the city there. We've come from there, and actually you can't see it from here. Optus Stadium is hidden somewhere there. That's the city there. So we're pretty much crossing it now. And we're getting into South Perth. Because this side is the south. That's the south. That's the north. There we are. That west is sort of like that way. This is nice and cool. Sorry, there's some wind again, so I don't know if this will pick up my voice properly. I did want to try and use the microphone that's connected to my phone, or like the Bluetooth system, but that means that I don't have music playing, and I'll have a recording of my voice for, I don't know, like 4 to 6 hours straight. So might as well record it straight into the action camera. Sometimes I am a bit jealous of pedestrians because they can ride right along the river, whereas if you're a cyclist and you're following this path, you're in the middle of the park, and so sometimes it's not the most exciting place. Sometimes. This is an RAC bus where it is fully automated. There is actually no driver there. Is it even working at the moment? Don't know. It's well, usually it's moving. Maybe because there's no one in there. Oh, it looks like we have to follow this to get to the south side because it diverts, or it gets bigger, which is okay because back there under the bridge, that's the last time that I was on that route. I went onto the bridge back there and then went round to the city side and then went back home from there. So this is all new to me. I really don't know where I'm going from here. It's literally just make sure I follow the river, and if I'm diverted away from the river, that I try and find my way back or find a pathway that will allow me to get back onto a pathway that goes along the river. So I have not been on this side. This is what I mean where the Swan River snakes. I don't exactly know where it'll go. So obviously from here, or from back there, it snakes to the left. It snakes into a different direction. So we're just going to try and follow it is all. I'm sorry if the audio is bad. Again, we're heading south now. That's west, that's east. Behind us is north. So the winds are coming from the ocean. I can feel it because it's nice and cool. One of the things that I've noticed people say about Western Australia compared to some of the other states, not all of them, is that you can drive a short distance and go really far in that time, which is true because I mean from my house to the city, for example, is about 45 minutes, and then from my house to the hills is about an hour 45 minutes as well, so similar distance. However, it's funny that at the same time this particular section of the freeway heading south is considered one of the worst places to have a what's it called again? Traffic jam. Which is interesting. That it's we're one of the best states to drive, but also one of the worst states to drive. Yeah. I don't know what to think of that. So you can notice it here, that water here is a different color compared to what's further out. Maybe I'll take a photo and then you guys can see. Now I just realized that I've ridden about 34 kilometers so far on this trip. So far, and we're not even, I think we're only halfway to Fremantle. So it may be a matter of I have to either take the train on part of the way back, or I may have to turn back before then, before Fremantle. We will have to see, because yeah, it's I haven't ridden to Fremantle before, so I don't know how much of my battery is needed to ride there. It will be interesting, I will say. Yep, so it looks like we're going in the right direction. Okay, so we're getting onto the bridge now. That's the Swan River still. But if I keep going, then I'll end up back here anyway. So might as well see if I can cut through here. And we'll try and follow the pathway to Fremantle from here. Well, besides the video, I suppose it's kind of a good thing that I am riding against the wind, because that means that possibly on the way back I'll be having wind pushing me, which means that there's a higher chance that the 2 batteries will last me this trip, which is a good thing. You can see so far I've ridden about 40 kilometers so far. It shows the difference between riding directly to Fremantle versus following the river. That's how much it snakes. Actually, I better check that the camera is still actually recording. Is it still recording? Yep, it's still recording. So with my earplugs out, I'm hoping that I'll be able to hear the camera before it shuts off, and that'll give me a chance to keep it recording, or if it actually dies, then I can... Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh. Yeah, I'm hoping with my earplugs out that I'll be able to hear the action camera before it turns off or stops the recording. It's still recording at the moment, which is great to see, but I do want to be prepared. So we've ridden 43 kilometers and I've got about a bar left, so it will be interesting to see how we go with that. I am hoping that we are more than halfway to Fremantle by now, considering we've ridden about 45 kilometers. I mean, obviously there's still quite a distance to go, but something to point out, the reason why I have quite a bit of luggage to carry with me is because I have to be prepared in case something goes wrong. So as an example, if something goes wrong with my ride, then at least I've got some tools to make a temporary fix if need be, and also medication for me, because I don't know how long I'll be out, so I don't know how long I'll be riding, so the medication is just in case it goes for longer than I expect. One of the things that I'm noticing on this trip is that it's hard to do both the photography and the video side. I mean, on top of that, I'm going to Fremantle, which is quite a distance away, so that doesn't really help, does it? And that's at, well, it's saying 51 kilometers here, but I mean, as we just pointed before, it's not exactly accurate, so that 51 could be 49. Oh, well, it's giving me a bar back, so maybe it's just under a bar. Now the battery on this is rated to go until 60 kilometers, but assuming that is ideal circumstances, I'm riding and it's about 50 kilometers now. My app is telling me that I've ridden 52 kilometers so far, which is really good. I mean, to think that the manufacturer says it's 60 kilometers per charge, that's pretty close. So if we were to push it to its limits, and that's not riding level surface, ideal situations. We are starting and stopping, we are taking photos, we are going up hills and downhill, so that's really good. Okay, let's get over here. There's not enough battery to push me up the hill, so I'm going to change it now, the other battery, just to be sure that it's going to be safe to ride, because I don't want to be stuck in the middle of a random road. Welcome to Hamilton Hill. I still don't know where we are, or if we're going in the same right direction or not. It's like confusing. Why does it have to be? Alright, so we're getting pretty close. I don't know how far it is, or if I'm in the right direction. I don't know what's going on.